Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the New Fashioned Conservatives podcast. I'm your host, Justin Phillips. With me, as always, the one and only Shadow Governor Voss.
Robin Voss's strongest soldier.
And we have a jam-packed episode for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the legislative session that took place, Dem fundraising numbers, and enough candy to give you a cavity. So let's start with the legislative session. Assembly was on the floor Tuesday and Thursday this week. We're going to be a little bit on that because I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on legislation that passes one house but not the other, or stuff that doesn't get to the governor's desk right away. I don't really think that would be helpful to the listeners, who, especially ones that maybe don't work in the building and don't understand those nuances. So I don't want to get folks excited about legislation that could die in one of the chambers or be vetoed. We'll talk about it if it's vetoed. We'll talk about it when it gets signed. But there are a few Shadow Gov that came out of the past couple days that I think are worth talking about. First one is that the Assembly passed no tax on tips and no tax on overtime bills. So
easy win.
Yep.
Easy win.
Yep.
It's basically they did it at the federal level, do it at the state level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who doesn't like no tax on tips? It's an easy winner for the working class, I mean, they depend on tips to make a living. So why not exempt it? And of course they do expire in 4 years. Mm-hmm. So that'll become a political issue in 4 years as well. Much like most, like the Trump tax cuts, Obamacare subsidies, common tactic used by politicians. So are we surprised?
Creating some artificial sunset for some things, or giving it a chance to say, well, we tried it and it either worked or didn't. And
there's actually a policy position of like making sure it doesn't ruin the system. Yeah. Like there is some, but two things can be true at once.
Exactly. So. Another bill that was passed regarded judges. This was kind of a follow-up to Judge Hannah Dugan, who was suspended and was suspended with pay. This states that if judges are suspended for judicial misconduct, they can't take a salary.
But if they're proven innocent, they get back pay.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's it's pretty straightforward. So, I mean, if you're accused of and this is the Supreme Court, I'm pretty sure if the Supreme Court hands down a suspension. So it's not just, the Supreme Court has to agree to suspend that person. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they would get back pay. So I don't know why anyone would necessarily oppose that, but pretty sure that was a pretty partisan vote, just because
it was about
Hannah Dugan.
Yeah, I think you could have maybe not easily, but I think you could have found a case to be made that at some point in the past history of the state of Wisconsin, there was a Republican or conservative leaning judge that had been suspended for misconduct and got pay. And
well, and I think one of the issues is that this so few judges have actually been suspended. Mm-hmm. And well, I should say, I don't think there's that many judges that have been suspended, and then there's been even less that have been impeached. So this is like a very, very rare situation, but doesn't mean that we shouldn't pass bills about it, of course. But
I think if you're an average taxpayer and you're reading the news about Judge Dugan or any judge that is suspended for judicial misconduct, you got to be thinking, why do they get pay? And I think that's true of a lot of positions of authority, whether it's in police or school administration, that, you find out someone's suspended but with pay, or they're on desk duty. Like, that doesn't feel like it's as much of a punishment as it should be for someone who, breaks the law.
So just looking a little bit, kind of scanning over the votes of this, it was 57-42. Mm-hmm. So it looks like Doyle did vote for it. Jenna Jacobson, who's running against Howard Marklein in the Senate, voted for it. Let's look a couple more here.
So, but Steve Doyle is a semi-vulnerable Dem. Mm-hmm. I think the Republicans have recruited good candidates to run against him in the recent elections and have fallen just short. You're talking about, I think, somewhere between 47 and 49% of the vote. So you're clearly looking at some people who need to gain some support with moderates and independents, or even slight Republicans, to get across the finish line. And these are the types of votes they take to do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, Steve Doyle, though, he seems to have defied the odds multiple times. Mm-hmm. So is this the one that it finally catches up to him? But I don't know. It depends on how the race in the third goes, but he survived the map change, which I think took a lot of his district away. So can he survive that? Interesting. Spouty, Ryan Spouty, Representative Spouty, represents part of Green Bay, voted no on this, and he's a prosecutor, or was a prosecutor, still is. And also Joe Sheehan, who represents Sheboygan, that's also a swing seat. He also voted no on it. So, and I'm trying to find, doing this live, of course, if anyone else voted yes, that was a Democrat, and I'm not seeing a whole lot.
So they let a few,
handful, like 2 or 3.
They let a few take the vote.
Yeah.
I think the most important bill.
Hong voted yes. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Joke.
I think the most important bill that was passed this week in the legislature was the bill to define grooming. As we found out when the DPI scandal broke, that they had countless teachers under investigation at some point for sexual misconduct and things like grooming. When they were grilled, when DPI was grilled by the assembly leaders, they said that there was no definition or that could be construed for grooming, and that meant they weren't necessarily getting the punishments that I think they should. And
you can't charge something if you can't define it.
Exactly. And so this bill, I believe it was by Amanda Nedwesky, was the lead author there. She got this bill through the legislature and got through the assembly and passed on a very, very bipartisan vote, but not a complete vote. It was not a voice vote. It was not a unanimous vote. There were 6 members of the Socialist Caucus that chose to vote against a bill to define grooming.
So these are the lefties of the left that voted against us. Now, again, this isn't like, Democrats, they hate putting people in jail. They hate voting for stuff where they have to increase, penalties or whatnot, because it's oppressive against minorities or disadvantaged communities, yada, yada, yada. But this doesn't do anything. This doesn't create a new crime. Well, it actually does. Sorry. I shouldn't. It doesn't. Okay, maybe I do understand why they hate it. It's because it does create a new crime that people would be put in jail for, and they don't want people to go to jail. They want people to go through restorative justice techniques that allow for people to kind of basically explain their feelings on why they did stuff. Meanwhile, the other 96 members that are living in reality understand that grooming literal children is a bad thing, and that these people that do grooming get charged with disorderly conduct, and they just get a multiple disorderly conduct charges. And then you have people that literally groom, and then they get like a couple months in jail or maybe even a couple years, and they're not registered as a sex offender or anything. So the bill, I think, they would have to register as a sex offender as well, along with, define what grooming is. And then there's also a bunch of other enhancers that also determine. So, for example, there's an enhancer if they have like authority over it, like if it's a teacher or if it's like a coach or something. It's not just like some random person, but because that adult would be using that position of power over them to kind of influence them. And I think there's some other additional qualifier or enhancers that make it quite stiff penalties. I think we're going up to like a felony.
Sure.
What was it, like FHG? One of the. I mean, you're starting to get pretty high. Obviously, like, what is it, like a class A, B felony, or like that's like your maximum, like life without parole max sentence. So, overall good thing, but apparently, the Socialist Caucus.
So 6 members of the state assembly voted no. Ryan Clancy was one of them. Francesca Hong was another one. I tweeted this earlier in the week, but I'm not saying we should be checking the hard drives of those 6 progressives that voted no, but
you could make an argument.
Yeah, FBI might want to take a look at that. And it's weird that Francesca Hong, a mother, would be like, nah, we don't need to do this. And of course, a statewide gubernatorial candidate who will need support from people beyond the far left progressives if she wants to compete in a general election. She shot herself in the foot by not just taking the vote on this one.
I mean, think about a general election where you voted against this bill, and ad after ad after ad, groomer. I mean, she has taken probably a ton of crappy votes that she's gladly taken. I mean, I don't think that she's sitting there sweating bullets like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I took that vote. I respect her. She's a true believer. She believes, she believes the message 100%, and she's committed to the end. Okay. I respect her, but that doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden a electable candidate. Right. So she's got, if she were to win the primary, which we'll talk about in a little bit, she'd have a lot of baggage. The groomer bill being one of them. I mean,
that's like one of your top bullets.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah.
Yeah. You get that. I mean, like if you're Tom Tiffany or Josh Schoeman, you got to be excited.
Oh my gosh.
With that, like the Oppo is writing itself. Those, you said those ads.
Oh man. The amount of ads, and like, there are a ton of wine moms in Southeast Wisconsin that don't like Republicans, and but if you threaten the kids though, you might have an argument to be made.
That is a one sentence. Francesca Hong is with stands with pedophiles or stands with predators, not with your children. Easy slam dunk.
A slightly dark out screen with a young child, ominous background. Like the ad writes itself.
You can find you could go on CCAP and find 20 people right now who should be charged with grooming, but won't be because of this, or haven't been because it hasn't been signed into law yet. But Francesca Hong stands with them. You throw those jail photos, those mug shots up next to Francesca. It's a pretty damning ad.
Oh gosh. And so the Republican Party, Tom Tiffany, Josh Schoeman, all Republicans are probably just hoping that Francesca, a lot of people are hoping. I still don't want her to be the nominee. Okay. Even that being said, I still don't want her to be the nominee because you do not trust the abilities of someone that does have grassroots support.
Yeah.
Never underestimate it. That's what the Dems did with Trump, and they gave him all the airtime in the world, and they've been kicking themselves ever since for giving them a platform. So I just don't want to make that mistake.
So let's talk a little bit about that. So fundraising numbers for 2025 dropped this week. J.R. Ross over at WisPolitics.
It's the busiest time of year for him.
Yep. A+ job tracking all these. So get a few of the Republicans out of the way first. I think the big one, the good one that surprised me more than anything was Eric Toney raising the most amount of money ever for a non-incumbent, over $400,000. Fantastic. Like it's exactly what you want to come in with. I know I don't think it was quite double Josh Call's numbers, but I thought Josh Call only hit like $267,000. Like
he also kind of announced kind of late, I feel like. So so was he even really fundraising before?
Well, Eric Toney raised this since launching his campaign in October. So 3 months.
It's not bad.
Yeah. No, I think $500,000 for the not top of the ticket candidate, statewide office. Like that's shows that you're working hard.
Yeah. And my biggest worry still is where we have a rematch race.
Yeah.
So that extra money, like we just have to find that angle of how can we get over the voters that voted against you?
Yeah.
And have them potentially vote for you.
Yep.
So
the other ones of note, we talked about it last week. Tom Tiffany raised over $2 million. Josh Schoeman, $1 million, or near $1 million, $100,000 from Josh personally loaned to his campaign. But still, you have the top two Republican candidates raising a combined $3 million. It's
not bad.
Yeah, that's really solid, especially
if you
when
add all the Dems up. It probably
but let's talk about that in a moment. So we'll talk about the Dem fundraising, and we're going to start it out with our newest weekly segment that has been happening a few times in our last episodes. We're going to call it the Justin Was Wrong Again segment.
We should have written them down because I don't really remember. We're just kind of riffing back and forth.
We should have really written down our projections and predictions because I was mostly false, or mostly wrong on Francesca Hong. I did get one little bit of her fundraising numbers correctly, and I said she was going to have the most small dollar donors, which she did
by a landslide.
So I'm going to read these to you, Shadow Gov, and then we'll rank them at the end because it's not just a rank of who raised the most money to who raised the least amount of money, but more so like once you peel back that first layer, you see how the candidates raise their money, where they got it from, and how does that affect, when they got in the race, how would that affect your ranking? So I'm going to read them right now, and then we'll go from there. So,
all right.
The David Crowley raised $805,000, but $141,000 of that came from his Milwaukee County Executive Campaign Committee. Sara Russell Rodriguez raised $650,000. She got $86,000 from the Democrat Lieutenant Governors Association. Joel Fredo Brennan got $560,000 with $20,000 from his brother-in-law, Exact Sciences CEO Kevin Conroy. Another bit about his donors is he's completely astroturfed. His average donor was like $2,000.
$2,000.
Like it is the top tier donor establishment that is backing Joel Brennan. The business.
It's got to be the business, the lobbyists.
Yes.
Well, not all lobbyists, I'm sure,
but certainly not the grassroots donating $50, $60, $75 to his campaign.
I mean,
that's not where he's getting his money.
He's got a lot of connections.
Yep.
And I guess good for him for having those connections. Like that is, I didn't necessarily know how much money. We should have really wrote it down, because I think I said that he was going to raise a decent amount of money, but he would still get 5th place because he doesn't have any grassroots support.
Right.
So he'll get a lot of money to get 4th or 5th.
Jesse Barnes raised $550,000. Missy Hughes raised $475,000. She got $20,000 from former Milwaukee County executive and leftist philanthropist Chris Abley. Kelda raised $378,000. She and her husband both gave $20,000. Francesca Hong raised $368,000, but she got it from 7,500 donors. But it also means that 40% of the money she raised came in the first 48 hours from her launch. So that is a full-on sugar rush. She hit that big number at the beginning. I thought that momentum with the terminally online Mamdani left would continue. It didn't. Barnes, Brennan got in the race in December. Crowley came in September. Francesca and Kelda were mid-September. Missy Hughes entered at the end of September or early October. Sara Russell Rodriguez, of course, was first in the race before Governor Evers announced he wasn't going to run again. She announced in July. So with all that information, Shadow Gov,
power
rankings for the Democrats based off their fundraising and all those, nuances to their numbers.
I think it is kind of tough, but I love it so much. I'm probably going to have to rank Jesse first still, because he's only been in a month and he's raised $500,000.
But a lot of that came from a PAC.
Yes. So that's the only demerit. So it's not like a strong one, but I still think it's one. But yes, he transferred a lot of money from his PAC, which also doesn't really spend a lot of money on other stuff except for himself. It's literally just a grift, and so basically all the PAC money has gone to himself in one way or another, either that be reimbursements for meals, I'm sure, or in this case, his campaign. But he still probably raised 450K in 1 month. Still not bad. But if you were an incumbent, I don't want to say you're an incumbent, but if you have that much name ID from a previous race in 2022, I still feel like you should have raised a little bit more. David Crowley, obviously, he got in early September, so he's had a decent amount of time, and he even transferred 141K. So that leaves you with what, 650K? Yeah. So I'm putting him at a solid 2 right now. But it's like a 2+, and Mandel's kind of like at a 1- in a way. But he still raised a decent amount of money, but the 140K kind of it gets good headlines, but it's a lot closer to his opponents. Yeah, I believe I'm hesitant to put Sara at 3, but I'm going to probably put Sara at a 3-.
Sure,
just because she's been the longest in the race. She's got the Dem LGs that are helping her out a lot, but 650K is still a solid haul, and she can stick around. Like, she's got staying power now. Then I'm actually going to put Missy Hughes above our friend Joel Brennan at 4, but I'm going to put her at a 4-.
Yeah.
And probably put Joel Brennan at a 5+, where Missy raised probably double what I thought she was going to raise.
Okay.
So I'm going to give her some credit for somehow finding that middle lane, and maybe some bigger donors think that she can win or more electable. So I'm giving her, she's moving up the ranks. Joel Brennan, basically kind of what I expected. I feel like maybe a little bit more, but yeah, I mean, $2,000 is an average donation.
Yeah.
Way out exceeding everybody. I think everybody's between Tiffany and everyone else is like between $100 and $500 basically.
Yep.
2,000. So he just knows a bunch of Milwaukee people, I'm sure, big high rollers, which makes sense. So he's probably like a 5+, because I just think it's AstroTurf. So he can again probably get a solid 4th or 5th polling. And then I'm going to put Francesca Hong at so that's what, 6+? 6+, because it's enough money to be kind of like the ankle biter, but it's definitely not enough to like get into third place.
It's definitely a disappointing haul. Again, when you have $150,000 in your first 48 hours and you can't even sustain part of that, like I think that's a pretty bad haul.
Yes, it's a bad haul, but again, you never want to underestimate someone's ability to have grassroots support. The Democrats did this with Trump in 2016. They made fun of him. They gave him all the airtime. Francesca's got a harder job though, because she does have a lot of grassroots support, but she's got to turn that into, actionable polling numbers. So if she's got a lot of volunteers that are willing to work for her, get the word out, word of mouth, that can translate into, I mean, that's the best. What is the best marketing tool? Is like word of mouth from someone like you trust. So that would be huge for her, but it is a significantly less than the others. So that's why I give her the 6+. And then Kelda, 7-.
Yeah.
Just, you might as well call it, skip 6 and go right to 8.
Yeah.
Just kind of disappointing,
So the back of the napkin math says that over 10% of her money came from her and her husband.
Yep.
Like, that's bad. Like, $378K for her, like, that's a really good state Senate race. Like, at this point, she should seriously consider if she's in this for the long haul or if she needs to drop back into her legislative seat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see her making it past March.
No.
And probably earlier.
And the problem for her is twofold. It's message and money. Like, she doesn't have money. And her message is indistinguishable from Francesca Hong in a lot of ways. And even now, Sara Russell Rodriguez's anti-ICE thing, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes now too. Like, she's indistinguishable from the other, especially the female candidates, but certainly from, she ran in 18 as the progressive female candidate. You now have at least 1.5 of those, 2 total between the 3, I think. So her message is probably just getting lost. Yep.
If there's nothing really that's cutting through. So yeah, she's got it's a tough sledding. And I mean, Kelda did not, she raised more than Francesca did, but Francesca has more, like a lot more donors, lower average amount, clearly more grassroots support, where Kelda got more bigger donors and just, again, $300K. I mean, they're going to have to start spending it here. And it's the new year. With the April election coming up here soon, and I don't think there's gonna be a ton of money spent in that race. I don't know if they wait till after April to really start, dishing stuff out, but they have the Dem convention coming up.
You're going to spend you're probably gonna have to spend some money, a significant amount of your money, with targeted ads to convention attendees.
Yeah. And again, I don't really know how their convention system is set up. So, but they're going to have to start burning through this soon.
Yeah.
And, obviously if you don't have any money, you don't have a message. So it's going to shake. Things are going to be very interesting. But
if I was going to comment, I think your rankings are spot on. I think if I was going to change anything, I'm really hard pressed to find something that I'd want to change other than Sara Russell Rodriguez being in the race since July and only raising $650. And if you knock out the 86, that's 570,
Mhm.
which is, again, you knock out Crowley's 141 that he carried over and Barnes's money that they carried over. It is surprising how close all of these candidates are. There's no one who's like streets ahead than anyone else.
Yeah, even with Mandela, like Crowley's 800 is kind of an outlier, but when you think about the 140, it brings everyone's
at 650-ish to again 380 to 650 is the range.
That's pretty tight as far as fundraising. So,
and it doesn't make the case that any of them should drop out because someone is so far ahead in money.
I mean, honestly, I know we just told Kelda should probably drop out, but everyone in the race is basically one viral moment away from propelling themselves into a top 2 or top 3 situation. So I feel like they're all going to probably hang on, and maybe the Dem Party will tell. I don't know. I don't think that the new Democrat chair has the influence or the power to tell people to drop out. So I don't know. So I don't think that's going to happen. And I do think we're going to get a primary probably down to the better end.
And like I said, when Joel Brennan has most of his donors his donor average is $2,000. It's hard to me to think he has any true momentum to vault him ahead of Sara Rodriguez or drop him down any, because again, people below him have significantly less money.
The only reason I give Sara Russell Rodriguez some kudos as being, what did I give her? I think I gave her like a 3+. Is the fact that she's essentially, it was a do-nothing assembly person
for a term,
a do-nothing lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
And she's got a decent haul of funding. At least Jesse, when he was lieutenant governor, he did stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't good, but he did stuff. He was in the assembly and he did stuff. Crowley did stuff in the assembly. He's the county exec. He's done a lot of stuff. Joel Brennan, he's been active just behind the scenes, more or less.
He's in the nonprofit world.
But then he just kind of knew people.
Yeah.
So like that's how he got his money. So like that's an advantage.
Yeah.
Missy Hughes.
He knows the business community.
Kind of light moderate, so she's got a lane at least. Francesca Hong, super progressive, Mamdani, national, or so I almost said national socialist. She's got I was going to say a national network of socialists. Or national socialist, whatever.
A little bit of both.
Whatever you want to call it. And then Kelda is a state senator, and she's run for governor before. Everyone else has like something else to their resume.
Yeah.
Whereas Sara Russell Rodriguez is like, you've just done nothing.
Yeah.
And then you just pop on the scene, and now you have $650K.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm giving her credit. Don't hear what I'm saying. Not saying. I'm giving her credit for basically not having anything else going for her.
Yeah.
So fascinating. I love this. I've been waiting for this for so long, just to finally be able to pour over some numbers. And
of course there's no clarity.
There's none. We were maybe someone's gonna pull ahead. Maybe someone will break 1 million.
Nothing.
Absolutely not.
I thought, at least I talk about being wrong. I thought Francesca was going to have one of the highest totals, and she's coming in at the lowest. Like,
I mean, there's like a. The only reason I think I hesitated to say that she'd be leading is because she hasn't quite had that viral moment. Like that's why
not since her launch. I mean, her launch video got 1.1 million views on X. Like, I thought that would be like, all right, this is going to keep going. That momentum's going to carry.
She never had anything since then, really.
Hasn't.
And that's kind of how Mamdani started. Is like he did these really well edited and produced videos where he was, personable and able to kind of talk about issues, in plain language. And then but he kept on doing them.
Yep.
And so he kept like a stage, and you just see it casually. It's like, I don't follow Mamdani. I don't follow New York politics, but he would get the videos because they would go mega viral.
Yep.
And I understand that, Twitter is not real life. X, whatever, is not real life, but it is a little bit. So when you see that she hasn't had these other viral moments, because that's kind of what she needs. She needs to be a flash in the pan a little bit.
Sure.
So maybe she's got to ratchet up the crazy, the hot takes.
Speaking of ratcheting up crazy and hot takes, Sara Russell Rodriguez had her Leroy Jenkins moment the other day, earlier this week, in fact, when she launched her anti-ICE plan that was, in fact, too radical for the governor. So in this proposal, Sara Russell Rodriguez called for law enforcement called for a law forcing immigration officers to stop covering their faces during raids, which would open them up to doxing, harassment, and would imperil their public safety. She wants federal agents to display their badges and wear body cameras while working anywhere in the state. And she wanted to allow people to sue ICE agents and other law enforcement officials for civil rights violations in this grand proposal she had. Now, Tony comes out, gets asked by this, and a couple of things about this article by Scott Bauer. But the first one is, let's just go through, and I'm going to find that quote from Evers saying, "I'm not sure we have the ability to do that." Just a flat statement. Now, you look at that picture that they picked of Sara Rodriguez, and we'll put this out on X when the pod launches. You don't pick that photo unless you want someone else to win. Like, that is like just scrolling through the AP pictures of the worst look for Sara Russell Rodriguez. You have it right there.
Yeah, it's
in
not
this
a great
article.
one. She's got. Yeah. They caught her when she's doing something weird with her
She's
mouth.
like, yeah, like, and you could catch that with anyone. Like, it actually looks really weird when you speak if you're caught in that one frame.
Well, if they pick a different frame, she probably looks pretty, professional or something. But yeah, not a great picture at all. But this is, this is like prime television right now.
Yeah. So the other thing in this is that she said she wants civil immigration enforcement actions in Wisconsin would be banned around courtrooms, hospitals, health clinics, licensed child care centers, daycares, schools, institutions of higher learning, domestic violence shelters, and places of worship, except if there was a judicial warrant or an immediate public threat to safety.
Well, I could make an argument that they're all an immediate threat to public safety.
Yeah, but this is another one where the left is tweaking language to fit a reality to create a reality that isn't in line with, actual reality, that an ICE warrant is no different than a judicial warrant. Like, they still have the power. It still has authority.
Yeah, but they'd like to think, well, it comes from a judge, therefore it's more valid.
Right.
They just don't like that it comes directly from ICE.
Yeah. And then I wanted this one quote she had is that no one should be afraid to drop off their kids at school, seek medical care, go to court, or attend worship because enforcement actions are happening without clear rules or accountability. I don't know a single person that would say going to church or going to mass is attending worship. Like, so it sounds like someone who's never actually set foot in a church. To me,
I some Protestants I've heard that, which my guess is she's probably more Protestant than she is Catholic.
I figure she's Unitarian or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Protestant umbrella is rather large, and I have plenty of issues with many of the Protestants that they're not even Christian anymore because they are so far gone. But before, I mean, obviously, I can't believe we're saying this, but I agree with Tony. Yeah, I don't think we can do this.
Welcome to federalism.
Yeah, you're basically just superseding. It's hilarious when the Democrats all of a sudden want to make states' rights arguments. It's like
they haven't been doing that for 100 and almost 200 years.
Well, yeah, and the 101st Airborne, just like implemented, just came into Little Rock. No one, you want to talk about states' rights, like the federal supremacy. Like, sorry, that's just you guys made this argument, so it is what it is. So yeah, it's just funny that Evers though is the voice of reason in the room here. Also, not even thinking about, let's forget the legal arguments, forget let's change laws or let's make a law saying ICE has to cover their face. Like, we all know that's insane. What do I want ICE having to cover their face? No, but I think we should allow them to, because these people are literally doxing. There was a leak from a DHS database.
That's right. Yes.
They're not even leaking like just enforcement operation people, just like DHS employees, just general DHS employees. You don't even know if they're like red-blooded conservatives. You're just anyone that works for DHS or like loosely related to ICE needs to be, and they're not doxing these people for like journalistic standards or anything. It's because they want these people to be hurt. It's really that simple. But again, all of that aside, Tony is throwing his lieutenant governor under the bus again. Now, Tony has said, I'm not going to endorse for the race. I'm not going to. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But usually, obviously the lieutenant governor, like, they run separate, like in a separate primary.
Mhm.
So you don't like choose a ticket. They're voted on.
Yep.
So you don't get to choose your lieutenant governor. But we've never really seen all that much animosity between the two until Sara Russell Rodriguez was running for governor,
Mhm.
and Evers kind of threw her under the bus for the budget and everything. And now Evers is throwing her under the bus for immigration enforcement, which like she made some waves in the media about this ICE plan, which I don't think I heard, everyone else had statements, but hers actually cut through a little bit deeper. But then, Evers just cutting her off right at the legs, which Evers says he's not going to endorse, which is fine, but he's got a favorite, and it's David Crowley. Okay. We know it's David Crowley. At least in my opinion, I think it's David Crowley, based off of the other tea leaves that you can kind of see, who's talking about who favorably, who are they not talking about. And clearly he hates Sara Rodriguez, and he doesn't want her to anywhere close to his office. So
this proposal, I think, is dead in the water, and she's going to learn really quickly how, I think, poorly this is going to go over. This was, again, a knee-jerk reaction to the Renee Good justified shooting by an ICE officer. I don't know if you saw that. Apparently, the ICE officer not only got kind of run over, but had internal bleeding. So you don't get internal bleeding from being bumped by a vehicle. You get from being
they were
hit.
even attesting for a while that he wasn't even hit. Because, again, the natural order of operations for liberals is to start from a position of, it's like arguing a football game. I don't care if the Packers committed a penalty or not. If there's a flag thrown, it's the other team. It wasn't our fault. We didn't do anything wrong. Okay. That's how the left thinks about politics, is that it's their team winning, regardless if they did something wrong. Bull crap. They show a video of a lineman tackling him. That wasn't, he tripped. He just brought him down. It just happens. The left are like, oh, well, he didn't actually get hit. Oh, okay. Well, he got hit, but he didn't actually get hit. He just got bumped. Yeah. Okay. Well, now he got more than bumped. He got hit and he got hurt, but this is why it's okay that he got hit, because, well, he has no moral authority to do this. They move the goalposts slowly. And then they stop whenever they have like a narrative that actually works. It's like clockwork. They do this all the time. And once you see it once and you see right through it, you see through it every time.
Certainly, though, for Sara Russell Rodriguez, very embarrassing. For the governor to come out and be like, I don't think we can do that.
Now, unfortunately, I think a lot of people don't see it that way. Obviously we do, because every statement someone says is important. And so if anyone, says anything even remotely seen as bad, we are like, oh, snap, that's a big deal. But to most people, they're probably just like, oh, they disagree. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. And they probably don't see much into it. But for the political gamesmanship, it is huge, though.
Yeah. So another huge bit of news came out this week, and this has been happening all across the country. But here at home, Children's Hospital of Wisconsin and the UW Health, two of those state's largest pediatric hospitals, have paused. This is the words from the news article: gender-affirming care treatment for minors, according to sources associated with both clinics. The move comes less than a month after the U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy announced new proposed rules on December 18th that the federal government would deny Medicaid and Medicare payments to hospitals and clinics for all medical interventions if they provide gender-affirming care services for patients 17 and younger. So it virtually shut it down at any hospital. So this came from the Journal Sentinel. That's why it says things like gender-affirming care and all that nonsense. The Journal ended up interviewing a parent who, of course, wouldn't speak on the record because they're kind of a coward.
And probably trying to trans their kid.
Well, yes, they are. Raised concerns that the clinics are abandoning ongoing treatments, such as hormone replacement therapy, leaving children to go cold turkey after years of either taking estrogen or testosterone. The parent's daughter, and again, daughter could be in quotes here, has puberty blocker implant, a small rod inserted into her upper arm that slowly releases a hormone pausing puberty, which is, mutilation. But that aside, this seems like a good thing that we're actually coming out on the side of sanity on this. And I think this is another one where you have a small but vocal minority of the left that drives this narrative, moves these goalposts. They create these words like gender-affirming care. And then the rest of the left gets dragged along with it, rules be damned, or, the elections be damned. Because I think if there's one section of the population that has an outsized influence and no constituency, it's the trans community within the Democrat Party.
Yeah. And the trans issue is one of those issues that we've actually won.
Mm-hmm.
We've won on the cultural side of this. Now, obviously, there are still people that support the trend, but like this was like a speed bump in the news cycle.
Yeah.
Like this is huge. The two of the biggest providers of this in Wisconsin are just closing up shop, and it was gone by dinner time.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like a major issue the next day.
Of course, it can't be, because again, the liberal narrative would be destroyed by it.
And this is. I mean, this doesn't happen if Trump doesn't win. So this is happening nationwide. Like there are hundreds. Well, I don't know how many people are trying to seek out this care, but there are thousands of people that are going to be better because these services are not being provided. And obviously, Children's Wisconsin, the name children is in the name, which means they were working on children. Okay. So there are going to be tons of children that are saved because of these actions. And we didn't even have to do a state law change, which is the fantastic part.
Yeah.
The big government coming in and saying, no, you can't do that or else. So
I think there's a lot of people that are going to look back on that window of history during, I guess, the Biden administration and a little bit in the early Trump and to now going, they're going to be like, holy shit.
What did we do?
Yeah. We screwed that up real bad.
I hope so. And you know how we do that is by, I thought about this. This is a tangent. When I hopefully have a lot of money one day, I want to invest in a publishing house and just create history books. That's what they do. The winners create history, I mean, for example, think about this for a second. Thought exercise. If the bad guy from World War II with the mustache, if he would have won, do you think the Holocaust would have been in the history books?
No, of course not.
No, it would have
year zero. There's their whole thing.
When the Romans came in and genocided the Gauls, they killed 1 million Gauls. No one knows about that. No one cares because who won?
Chinese history was destroyed and rebuilt with every emperor, every dynasty burned the books and the history of the previous one, and it destroyed a lot of knowledge. But like they did it because history starts with their dynasty, with that ruler, that emperor.
So
certainly
history gets
and this is
rewritten.
again, this is not just European history in the 1930s.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to relate.
But this is throughout history that these things happen. And
you just don't want, like, obviously, I don't know what the next 50 years are going to look like, but I would love there to be a section in 50 years about the idea that there was this horrible time in history where we mutilated children and we said it was a good thing.
Yeah. Well, you look at Europe right now is actually like scaling back. They're like, this is not a good idea. This is jumping to these conclusions for kids.
We're to the left of Europe on this issue.
Yeah.
Although weird. It's changing, and we've actually managed to push back on an issue successfully, and we've made it politically unfavorable to take that position, and we should continue to stamp out.
We'll have to see what level of an issue this becomes for the campaigns for the Democrats, because again, I think you talk about a group of people that has a large voice, an outsized voice for a very small group that shouldn't have a lot of influence in the Democrat Party.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think that issue is going to be dropped pretty quickly once, I think the Dems, I think if you're going to pick an issue that the Dems are going to drop, I think that's got to be at the top.
No, there's no way. The thing is, the Democrat Party is structured like the 20% of the progressives drive the party.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, even Nancy Pelosi, Nancy hated the progressives because she thought they were obstructionists, but she whipped them into shape. Nancy Pelosi, hate her, but she was a master of her craft. Now that she's not there, you think of Hakeem Jeffries? First of all, he's
Timu Obama.
Yeah, first of all, he's not. He's more progressive than the neoliberal, Nancy Pelosi types. So he probably believes in it more. But you think he's going to have a handle on the progressives and push like the 20% of the left that is like the most insane drives the party.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans have a more far right, if you will, but they don't necessarily drive. They'll still a lot of the mainstream donor class, the Heritage. Now, the Heritage Foundation is definitely more right wing than it was
5 years ago.
Yeah, even 5 years ago. But they still drive a lot of the mainstream politics. Whereas the left, Chuck Schumer,
I think they're going to find out how far of a losing issue this is for them, and I think they're going to get dropped. I think that is going to get you. I bet.
Absolutely not.
All right. Well,
they're taking that one to the grave. They are not giving it up. They can't.
I think they're going to have to.
I don't think they.
I think they're going to.
You know what? Well, this is why immigration is such a central topic and central to the left winning and the right. Because the left, you probably saw that ISIS deported so many people in Minnesota that they could lose a congressional seat. They've deported that many people.
I didn't see that number, but that's insane.
That's where the left derives a lot of their power.
That's true.
Is from pumping up the numbers and gain extra congressional seats, which equal more electoral votes. And if they win more the same blue seats, they get more an outsized influence.
And they get more money for all of the services. And then they get laundered back to Somali warlords and Hamas.
You could trace so many issues back to immigration, which is why it's kind of my issue. I'm not a one issue voter, but I'm pretty close to it. So if you attack them on that issue, like so many other things fall apart, and like they don't need to appeal to the general American public. They can just appeal to their base because they have this outsized influence where they don't have to appeal to the sensibilities of the middle of America.
Sure,
they can just be insane and continue to win elections. Now that's all changing, which is why we're over the target with immigration, and that's why they're screeching so hard right now because we haven't won by any means, but they feel the rope slipping a little bit as far as their hold on institutions, on institutional power that they've held for decades, essentially. And it's starting to slip and they don't like it. And this is why we need to continue to deport illegals and deport people that shouldn't be here. And it's central. It's just central to their game plan. And sorry, that got into I worked in immigration somehow. And I love it, but
little nuanced discussion. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's talk about something a bit closer to home. So I saw this from Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty shared with me. They are now defending a Wisconsin mother after a school district threatened her with legal action for posting a short video on social media. So the video that was shared, getting a lot of attention. It's about 50-second long. It's Corey Brewer from Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty explaining what's going on. Holy cow. I had to pause it. I was so pissed off that this is happening to this poor woman and this poor girl. I had to pause it several times just to calm down to get it again, because it's, if you're a parent, it's disgusting. So this woman posts a video of why she's going to homeschool her child because the young girl, very cute, but in a wheelchair, and was kind of shoved off to the side by the music teacher in the Pittsville school, kindergarten or elementary school district. So she posts this video. She says she's going to homeschool her kids. She gets very upset about it. School district of Pittsville threatens her with potential defamation lawsuit and sent the police chief to her home because of the social media post. They sent the school district of Pittsville sent a letter from their lawyer, an attempt to intimidate a parent for criticizing the school district, and came after the parent posted online about what their mother saw as an exclusion of her disabled daughter at the school-sponsored music program. Now, as a dad of young kids, I just look at that. I'd be furious if that was my kid. And I feel like the school we have for our girls does a much better job of making those accommodations and treating kids of all varieties better than what this music teacher did. And that music teacher is not getting the hate she deserves. That's okay, because the bigger issue here is now that the Pittsville is the small school district in Wood County sent the police chief to intimidate the parent, which is an abuse of resources. So thankfully, Will stepped in, Corey Brewer again, and Dan Lettington sent this long letter, which was basically a giant dunk. It was Jordan from the free throw line dunking on this lawyer, Shauna R. Lewis from the Ketanji Brown Jackson School of Law, shutting her down, saying exactly why this parent can do what she did. First Amendment rights, that a school is not something that can sue for defamation. It's just
very bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand. Like, as a school district, the teacher shouldn't have put the kid to the side.
Yeah.
Okay, the parent wanted to film it.
Yeah.
They could have just apologized.
Yeah.
And said, we're sincerely apologize. Like, I hope that, we've talked to the teacher.
Yeah.
Everything's been rectified.
Yeah.
And that would be the end of it. That would be the end of it. But I just don't understand.
But instead, the school district tries to intimidate this parent, tries to send the police chief from the small community to take it down. Again, the music teacher is not getting the hate for this that she deserves, but the police chief, Jeremy Dewar, weaponized his badge to intimidate a parent of a young disabled child. So shame on him.
There's so much.
He is the type of cop that is the reason why you will never see me have any Back the Blue stuff. Because Back the Blue, look, I love 95% of police officers. They're doing a great job. But for people like him, I know I can't do a full Back the Blue because they exist, because they are in the police force. He is a disgrace to the badge. For him to go to that woman's house and intimidate her, it's a fucking shakedown. It's mafia style tactics from the school district. And it's an insult to the rest of the police force that are doing their job. The fact that he didn't have the common sense to be like, this is a First Amendment issue. Maybe we shouldn't do this. It's appalling.
Yeah,
as a parent,
it's just again, it's quite literally just a video of showing her kid off to this, kind of put off to the side while the rest of this concert is going on. So, like, again, this didn't have to be a giant thing. And frankly, I place the most blame on obviously the school district for there's probably a couple people that said, oh, this is going to make us look bad. We have to kind of shut this down before we can. But yet the the police chief should know better. And, I can't, I hate to say this, but I can't blame the school district for looking out for themselves. Like, that's just institutions looking out for themselves. Like, that's just it. Tale as old as time.
But to have your lawyer send this thing that says we're going to sue you because you tried to defame the school, even though
optics are horrible.
A school can't be sued for defamation by legal precedent.
Yeah, the optics are just downright horrible for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to chide the police chief a lot for this, because they take an oath. They take an oath to defend the Constitution and to uphold it. That means also, if there is now not in the leftist sense of disobeying laws, the left thinks that we should just disobey any law that they don't like on a random Tuesday. But like, this is a genuine Bill of Rights issue that you should be like, hey, no, I won't do that. And you should be not doing that. You should be saying, no, I'm not going to do that. Also, my thing is what does the school board say? Maybe the school board or the school district, I should say the school district, did they say, oh, she threatened or something? Did she make it like an open threat or something? And kind of like, what is being told, because there's obviously people frame things from their perspective to benefit them. Like, does the school district say, oh, this parent threatened the teacher or the school because of this video or something? And then because then the police might have a genuine, like, making a house call to someone that makes a threat to a school is sensitive. So I'm trying
this is just a video of her daughter.
I know, I'm trying to steel man, I'm trying to be as generous as I can. So, but even when you steel man their argument, when it comes down, you just see the video and you're just like, there's nothing threatening about this.
No.
There's nothing threatening about it.
I hope a lot of people in the Pittsfield School District are taken to task for this.
Oh, they're going to be.
And they should be ashamed of what they did. And again, the music teacher is not getting the hate she should be. The police chief Terrible job on his part. School district, shameful.
I'm assuming that, I mean, it's a small school district, small community. Everyone's probably talking about this. You know, it went viral on TikTok. It doesn't take much for things to go viral in those small towns. So you have to, and plus, first of all, the school district's going to fold like a chair.
Yeah.
Like Will's going to, you know, do their thing.
Yeah.
I don't expect, similar to my prediction about Frank Wright and how the DA's office, which I was right about that as well.
You were.
I'll get a bit of a streak going, perhaps.
Yeah, again, that was in our previous episode. We discussed the older gentleman, the Vietnam War veteran, disabled, who tried to accidentally pay for his scratchers with $100 Trump bill. And another one of those.
What patriot hasn't done that?
Yeah, and another segment in the Justin was wrong category.
We'll keep you up to date on that. In the Justin was wrong, Shadow Governor Voss was right. But we'll see. We'll see.
So but, I hope Will does.
Yeah, I hope that they just say, we apologize. We're not gonna do anything more, and they just fold. And
giant act of contrition from the music teacher to resign, the police chief to maybe step back himself.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that.
Not that far, but one can dream. So let's get to some candy. First thing comes to us from the Democrats in the Wisconsin state legislature. So I know I said earlier that we weren't necessarily going to talk about bills before they were signed into law or vetoed by the governor, because I don't want to get people's hopes up or hype things that, you know, maybe won't pass. But in this case, we have to talk about this bill from Steve Doyle and Senator Jamie Wall. Will create Obamacare for dogs. Genuinely speaking here, the Wisconsin state legislature is circulating a bill that would create pet healthcare system. It's insane that this is a good idea.
I mean, I love pets. Love them all. Want them to live forever. But generally, pets don't have any medical issues until the very end.
Yeah.
Now, that's not always the case. You get those rare cases where, you know, they had something early and they have it for the rest of their life.
Sure.
And, you know, it's very unfortunate and it's sad and we always hate it. But, you know, healthcare is polling pretty decently for Democrats right now, but they must have missed the memo on the pet healthcare.
Yeah.
You know?
So the one thing that stands out to me in this is there's a section that from, again, this was the analysis by the Legislative Reference Bureau. There was a fair practices section, which places the burden on insurers to prove pre-existing condition exclusions and ensures producers are trained to explain complex policies. So we got to train people in dog insurance. And then sorry, your purebred golden retriever has a pre-existing condition for hip dysplasia. Like, come on. It's just like the stupidest thing imaginable that would come out of the, I mean, some stupid stuff comes out of the legislature. Usually it's making some breakfast pastry or soup, the, you know, state thing.
Or my least favorite, sales tax carve-outs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just a gimmick.
Can I insure my goldfish?
Yes, you can.
So for the
what are they going to charge, though?
For the 72 hours that I'm going to have a 19-cent goldfish? Like, yeah, this is, you know.
I mean, I kind of respect it because, you know, it is kind of like, I'm sure some people would see this and be like, oh. But at the same time, people would be like, I have to pay what a month to insure my dog?
Yeah, yeah.
And plus, you're also involving government for it too. Just
so it creates a uniform baseline for states to regulate the sale, marketing, and administration of pet insurance. Unbelievable. This is those things that, like, you know, people would send you a message like, this is what the legislature is working on. This is what people are paid $60,000+ a year to handle: dog insurance. So we're going to play this video for you of a man named Paul Fenner from Wisconsin being interviewed in the news because he drove from Wisconsin for over 4 hours to Minneapolis to quote unquote stand guard outside a Mexican restaurant and protect illegals from ICE. So imagine you have enough time on your hands and this, you know, gay Paul Bunyan here decided, you know what I'm going to spend my time doing? I'm going to drive to Minneapolis and protect a Mexican restaurant? Is there anything more racist and white savior than driving to a Mexican restaurant and thinking these people inside need my protection?
Paul, you came in from Madison, Wisconsin. That's a long drive. Help explain to me why you're here outside of this business right now.
So I'm out here right now because this business put out a call for people to stand on this corner to watch the business for them. They've been really worried about reopening. They were shut down for the past 5 days after ICE was here, and they just aren't comfortable just doing this on their own.
And this is a Mexican restaurant and grocery store. And Paul, I see that you have a lot of equipment on you. You have a camera, obviously. You have another GoPro back here. You've got this acts as a whistle, you were telling me. And you've also got a first aid kit. It would be easy to understand why somebody wouldn't want to be coming out here to do the work that Renee Good was doing after she lost her life. But instead, you drove in 4 hours away.
Yeah.
Why is it so important for you to be here right now, to be doing this work right now?
Yeah, I have family in this community, so I was really worried about them. They shared their concerns, and they have a young son. They're not able to do this work. They're not able to stand here and watch over the neighborhood. So I'm here for them, for this community. This is what they need. They need to see people in this community out here supporting them, showing them that we are not afraid of this state-sponsored terrorism.
Well, he just looks like he drinks too many IPAs, and I would love to just drop everything I'm doing and be able to work on my social justice issue of choice at any time. I actually, there was a great X post the other day that I gave a good chuckle. They said, why isn't there like a National Guard for like ICE where like once a month you go and you just do ICE stuff for like for like a weekend or something?
One weekend a month, 2 weeks a year.
Yeah.
I would join the ICE Guard.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Just a weekend commitment once a month. Sign me up.
I mean,
would do that.
I do something similar to this Paul Fenner character. I go to stand outside local Mexican restaurants here, but I try to flag ICE people down and be like, yeah, they're inside. They're in the kitchen. Go get them.
Or I will be the patriot, like our other ICE patriots that went to a Mexican restaurant, ate there, and then came back there a few hours later.
Yeah.
And got a few illegals.
Right. Go to local communities and be like, all right, I need to see anyone who's doing construction on their home.
Yeah.
All right. And then just like wait outside for that first aid.
Well, and now ICE, it's so funny. ICE, there was, because of course, you got the Social Security liberal Americans that are staying outside those Minnesota ICE facilities, just filming everything because they have nothing else better to do. And there's these videos of like these work trucks coming out and they're blasting like a mariachi band or something, but they're in work trucks. So they're just going and they're, performing operations out of these work trucks. So funny. So good. Love it.
Yes, but we have a comically racist gay Paul Bunyan driving from Wisconsin to Minneapolis to defend Mexican restaurants.
Well, and it is like, they think that this is like, it is the white savior complex. It is so leftist coded. I hate even saying that, but it is true. Like they feel like these people can't help themselves. So they feel like they have to interject. And this is my duty. Like this is it's a service. It's above myself. It's because the liberals, they don't have God. They don't have any form of spirituality that is actually legitimate. So their religion, their spirituality is derived from politics. Therefore, this is like a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
To like, this is their
Mecca.
Kind of, yeah. It's like this is their great act of selfless devotion to a cause. And it's pathetic.
Well, speaking of another one of these very similar situations, recently a group of those boomer Social Security lib Americans decided to have a protest, to support Renee Good and anti-ICE stuff in Menominee Falls. And in downtown Menominee Falls is a very traditional downtown for, two major streets crossing and some shops around the sides. And one of the shops nearby to the protest, allegedly, reporting from the Menominee Falls Mosquito, alleges that they started blasting Ice Ice Baby.
Based.
And yeah.
Need I say more?
So when Democrats show up to disrupt your Sunday business, You blast ice, ice, baby. And so the post comes from a boomer named Sheila Witt. I'm very disappointed in how the alumni club responded. It's one thing not to agree with the protest, but another to be so disrespectful to my fellow community members.
Break.
Yeah. Just the holier than thou bullshit that comes from being a leftist protester. So shout out to the alumni club
So based.
in Menominee Falls. Yeah, just incredible work there. And Menominee Falls is one of those communities that seems to be tipping a little bit more leftwards, and there's a bunch of reasons for that. But it's my hometown, so I take full pride in the alumni club. And next time, it's right next to Harvey Moyes, so a great twofer there. Go get some drinks and apps at one of those places, and then go get dinner at the other. So final bit of candy. And this is West Allis is doing this, but I know a couple other communities are. So West Allis recently announced that they're going to have a 2025-26 Name Our Snowplows voting. So people have submitted names for snowplows, and now you can name them. And of course, the most popular one, I hope, is Plowy McPlowface.
Gosh, it's the best.
But let me read you some of the other ones. You tell me what you like the most out of the Shadow Gov. So the
Plowy McPlowface. That's my
that
favorite.
one aside. So we've got
Yeah,
Blizzarache.
I mean
That's good. I mean, he's a West Allis guy.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
I guess I didn't realize that. But
Let's see what else we have. Cleopatra.
yeah,
Clever.
Clever.
Control Salt Delete.
I like that one.
I like Dwight Eisenplower.
Love the. Oh yeah.
Mr. Icy Pants Esquire.
Nah, I'm not
Ope.
a fan.
Let me scoop by ya. Plowabunga. Plowosaurus Rex.
Okay, it's pretty good.
Sleetwood Mac.
That is probably my second favorite.
Notorious B.I.G.
That's pretty good too.
Taylor Drift. The Big Leplowski. And Truck Norris, some of my favorites from this. So yeah, go check that out. West Allis is doing it. I think Menominee County is doing it. There's a bunch out there.
Menominee County.
Yeah,
Really?
I thought I saw that one. But
Yeah, more people should do it.
But of course, the winner's going to be Plowy McPlowface.
It's just too good. It's too simple. It's too simple not to win.
With that, folks, we're going to call it here. Hope you have a great Monday and a great week. Thank you for listening. Again, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, X, Spotify, Amazon, Rumble, all the socials. Let us know what you think the best plow name is, and have a good one.